Hey guys, Ginger here, welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you guys my April wrap-up. So in the month of April, I read a total of 7 books, which are the 7 books that I needed to read to complete my O.W.L.s over at the Magical Readathon. So yay to me, I actually did finish them all. I finished the last one today, so I was cutting it close. But I'm going to talk very quickly about my stats, and then I will get into each individual book for you guys, and I hope you enjoy learning about the books that I read this month. So like I said, I read a total of 7 books, which totals out to be about 2,609 pages over the books, which is a little lower than past months, but it's still a good chunk, and I am pretty happy with my progress. I read 3 thrillers, 3 fantasy, and 1 classic, and then my rating breakdown, I had 4 5 stars, 1 4.5, 1 4, and 1 3.5. So overall, it was a really good reading month, and I'm really happy, and I'm just super excited to share them all with you guys. I'm just going to go in order from top to bottom, which is technically the opposite order I read them in, but it's fine. The whole point is just to tell you which books I read, so let's get into it. The one that I just recently finished today is The Girl in 6E by A.R. Torr. This was to finish my exam for Transfiguration because it has a red cover, and this follows our main character, who is a cam girl, and her name is Deanna, but she goes by the name Jessica on her cams, and she locked herself in her apartment because she has an urge to kill people, and she does not want to do that. So I thought that this book was really unique and awesome, and it was a great mystery element. I mean, it wasn't really it was a mystery, but it also had to deal with like learning about our main character, and it gave me Dark Places vibes in a way. Not quite the same, but if you have read that book and you know the plot of that or the main character's background, then you kind of could maybe understand. But I would definitely recommend this if you were looking for a really unique, interesting book, because this is definitely one that has its own category. The next book on my list is Tales from Watership Down by Richard Adams. This is the second book in the Watership series. I gave this book 4 stars, and that is mostly because this is a series of short story collections in a way. The first 2 parts are stories, like myth stories for the rabbits, so it's about their fairy tales of their own and kind of talking about them, and I enjoyed them, but I was more here for continuing on with the original characters from Watership Down, and we did finally get that in part 3, and I read through that super quickly, but that's the main part that I gave it 4 stars because I was just expecting a little bit more from our original crew. But again, Richard Adams has a great writing style. This is a classic. This is a beautiful book. I love my Watership Down characters, so I gave it a 4. The next one on my list is Sharp Objects by Gillian Flynn. I gave this one a 4.75 to 5 stars, and again, another Gillian Flynn that I absolutely loved. This follows our main character, who is a reporter, and she is assigned to go back to her hometown and report back on some missing girls that have disappeared in her town. This is also a Hulu miniseries, so if you're interested in checking that out, I mean, it's HBO Hulu, so you'd have to have that, but if you already have Game of Thrones, then you're all set. I really enjoyed this. It's very short, and unlike the other 2 Gillian Flynns I've read, and I thought that for how short it was, it still packed a lot of information and character development and mystery, and even though I kind of had an idea what was going to happen, I still really enjoyed it, and Gillian Flynn just has a great, unique writing style, so every time I read one of her books, it is sure to be a ride. So if you've read Gone Girl or Dark Places and you haven't read this, I would recommend picking it up because it is just as great as her other ones. The next book on this list is Rebel of the Sands by Alwyn Hamilton, and I didn't expect to like this as much as I did, and I had no idea what it was about going into it, but this is about our main character, who she pretty much has been living in this same town with her aunt and uncle, and they treat her horribly, and she just wants out of there. And one day a mysterious stranger comes to the town, and it is kind of her gateway to leaving and seeing what is out there in the world. Other than that, it is a fantasy novel, and there are some very awesome fantasy elements that are in here. It kind of reminded me of Daughter of Smoke and Bone, only for like one small aspect, but because I love that book so much, making that connection was good. So that is definitely a good element. And I gave this 4.5 out of 5 stars because it had like a few little tropey things that I found a little repetitive from other fantasy novels, but for the most part, I really enjoyed that this had a unique plot in comparison to others. So I'm really excited that I read this, and I just ordered the second book through Thrift Books, so I should be getting that soon, and I can't wait to continue on with the series. The next book, I keep saying the next book, but I don't know how else to transition this, is The Breakdown by B.A. Paris. This is a thriller novel, and this revolves around our main character. She has had trouble remembering things, and she thinks that she might be getting early onset Alzheimer's, even though she's only in her 40s. And one night a woman gets murdered on a road very near their house, and this kind of causes her to start panicking more and stressing and activating more of the issues with her remembering, and she kind of just starts to freak out. And it's all about what is going on with her and if everything's okay, or if she knows who murdered this woman. So this was my favorite B.A. Paris of the ones that I've read. I've read all 3 of her books, and I gave this one 3.75-ish, or 3.5. And the twist out of all of her books, this was my favorite, but it was still kind of short and a little repetitive. And so, like, it wasn't my favorite thriller of all time, but if you are going to read a B.A. Paris, I would recommend reading this one because it is probably the best one of hers. And then the last 2 books go hand in hand, and I just remembered that I haven't been telling you guys the exams, so I'm gonna do that real quick. The Breakdown was for herbology. Rebel of the Sands was for the Defense Against the Dark Arts. I threw my paper away, so I don't remember. Sharp Objects was to read an adult novel. Tales from Watership Down was to read a book with a land animal on it, which was for Care of Magical Creatures. Okay, all caught up. Anyway, the last 2 books on this list are ones in a series, and they are probably one of my all-time favorite series. I have to read the last one still, but I absolutely adore these books, and they are Scarlet and Cress by Marissa Meyer. The Lunar Chronicles is freaking amazing, and if you haven't read it, I suggest you go and read it now because my heart loves these characters, and I'm just so excited to read Winter and finish this series and have it cherished on my shelf forever and ever. And yeah. So if you didn't already know, these 2 books are sequels to the first book, which is Cinder, and I read that last month, and that follows our main character Cinder, who is a cyborg, and she meets the prince, and it kind of is a Cinderella retelling. So I can't really go into much more synopsis of these 2, except I can tell you what retellings they are. Scarlet, which is the second book, is a retelling of Little Red Riding Hood, which I needed in my life, and Cress is a retelling of Rapunzel. And I gave both of these books 5 stars. I mean, that's just all there is to it. I can't even say that I liked one more than the other. I loved them both. I loved meeting our new characters, Scarlet and Cress, which, again, you meet in their respective novels, and how Marissa Meyer ties everything into the original book, and I'm excited to see how she ties it into the last one, and I'm just super excited to read that. But I read Scarlet for a retelling, which was the Ancient Runes, and then I read Cress for the sequel, or for the potions exam. It was originally going to be Layer of Dreams, but after I finished this one I had to continue on, so I picked up Cress, and now we're here. And so yeah, freaking those are my favorite 2 of the month for sure. Let's see if I can get these all in a pile to show you. I feel like I am being very scandalous with my shirt today. It's just an off-the-shoulder top. Like, it's fine. It's fine. I always have to, like, do something to see if I can get a thumbnail out of this. Because every time I take a picture or thumbnail, I look like a freaking dweebo. So hopefully I have a thumbnail out of that. Alright guys, so even though I didn't read as many books as I was planning to this month, I was planning to read 10. College and stuff got in the way, and that's why. But college will be done the first week of May, so I'm hoping to get plenty more books read in that month. But I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and let me know in the comments below what books you read in April. I would be super, super excited to know. And if you also participated in the O.W.L.s exams, I would like to know if you finished as well, and I will be seeing you in the Newts come August. So if you guys like this video, make sure to give it a thumbs up and hit that subscribe button to see more of my content in the future. But until that future, I will see you guys in my next video. Bye!